good to be back.
It is good to be back. Jeff, we're back in the studios downtown. We have Jeff Stevens. For those that don't know, this is Jeff Stevens to my left. And world-renowned. From what we've gathered lately, you're a media darling, a former rock and roll lead singer, as you attested to a few minutes ago. What? Don't look at me. It's just Google. Anyways, and we have Megan Wilson from our Berkeley office here. Megan, thank you for making the drive up.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to downtown Huntington, West Virginia. We're on the podcast, back in studio, as I said. We're excited to be here.
With our friends at Impact Media in the room.
You really
Thanks
should
for the
do the
hookup,
introductions.
as always. Well, I like them a lot.
They're wonderful. They are wonderful. Yeah. So, Megan, welcome to the podcast. You had told us before that you have done some media before. You've been on some live television.
I have.
Yeah, you've had some jobs in the past that required that. Is that right, or was you just a witness to a horrific crime?
No witness, but yeah, I had to do it for other positions.
I see. All right. So you're comfortable behind the microphone.
Sort of.
Well, good. Well, good.
A little nervous with you.
That's fair. We promise to be easy. No,
me too.
Yeah. Everyone's.
I completely understand. I've watched the other ones.
Right.
Well, our general counsel remains nervous anytime down there. It's fine. So
it's okay. I have Andy on speed dial.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. We keep him outside the door.
What were you on TV from? Or what?
Just other jobs that I've had.
She was on Law and Order. She was one of them that got murdered.
Yeah.
And they found
Stop
her.
it.
Oh no, that didn't happen. I'm sorry. So you're the executive director of our Berkeley, West Virginia office. Is that correct? And
I am.
you are from Berkeley?
Originally from Nicholas County.
Awesome.
And then transplanted to Berkeley probably 11, 12 years ago.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about your background. What path brought you to Village Caregiving?
So I started my career essentially just in social work. I really liked the idea of helping people and learning people's stories, and quite honestly was very afraid of old people and had a job fair, went to it for an internship, and it happened to be a nursing home, and I was really into what they were saying. So I ended up starting my career in long-term care and kind of grew from there, went into hospice, have worked assisted living and in hospitals. So when I saw Village Caregiving, I had actually done a complete 180 in my career. I was working with youth and foster care. And really missed working with the older population. So I saw your all's ad and kind of took the leap, and I'm really glad that I did.
Awesome.
I think I've told you before, I was really skeptical. I was kind of waiting for the shoe to drop, like, this is just too good to be true. I don't feel like this is true. But you guys have lived up to every word that you've promised me.
What do you think about that, Jeff? I lived up to every word, is what she said.
That's excellent to hear.
It is.
And I'm glad that you took the leap. We've talked about this sometimes, but it really is a leap, and it takes guts to do that. So bravo. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no, it's been wonderful.
So your education background is in social work, is that right?
It is.
And what led you to that? What led you down that road from high school? Did you know you were going to be a social worker when you grew up, or?
I didn't. Actually, initially I was going to go into law, and I even said it in my interview and thanked you guys for ignoring the fact that I put my foot in my mouth, because a lot of you all are actually lawyers, but actually said, oh yeah, I decided not to be a lawyer because I just felt like I would have to question my morals a lot, and unknowingly that everybody was a lawyer on that panel that I interviewed with. So thank you for being so generous about that. But no, honestly, my dad got hurt at work, and led to some interesting experiences just financially, and that's kind of what took me to social work, of just wanting to help people that were in a really bad situation.
Yeah, awesome. So you spent a long time in geriatric care and senior care. You've worked in a couple different spaces during that time. And this isn't your first time leading a large team. You've had experience in the past where you were leading a large team. I have seen firsthand the changes that you've implemented within our Berkeley office and how those have worked their way out into the community. What's some of the things that you're most proud of so far in your tenure for your Berkeley office?
Honestly, it's really nice to hear feedback from the office staff and from the caregivers that they're happy. That's honestly what I've been most proud of. Been super impactful for me. That tells me that I'm doing something right.
Awesome. Well, yeah, you guys are, I can tell when we're down there, you guys are having a good time. And you know, there are two reasons to love going to Berkeley, West Virginia. I don't know if you know this or not.
What?
One is Village Caregiving Berkeley, but a real close second. Right below there. Could you have any guesses what it could be?
I'm gonna go ahead and guess your favorite restaurant,
Yeah.
which is Compastre.
Oh my goodness, they have. And I remember one time, and I hope the folks there never see this, but you had kind of made a comment one time about that it was just another like Mexican food restaurant or something like that.
Oh, the Mexican place.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is unbelievable, and you really disparaged it in a way that Garrett
I
kind of
did
referred
not.
to.
Oh no!
Well, yes, you did. Garrett said earlier that Jim's Spaghetti was just a lunch spot. A lunch spot. Anyways,
That Mexican place in Beckley is really like the nicest Mexican restaurant I've ever seen.
oh, it's
Sparkly.
amazing.
It's like you're at
Yeah.
a resort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
You're
didn't
making my
disparage
argument.
that.
That day you said it's just a regular Mexican. You said it was just a regular Mexican, and it wasn't. It's a special place in
His
my heart.
stories, by the way, you can't believe 90% of it. It's all just tales of apocryphal.
There you go with those words again. He does this every time.
That's a great Mexican restaurant.
Thank you. And if they would like to have a corporate sponsor with us, we are accepting.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so you guys are from Beckley. Something that all of us on this podcast share today, and I don't know if all of us are aware of this, we are all Doodle parents. Did you know
Yes.
this?
I did not know
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about your Doodle.
I have two doodles
That's right.
actually.
A pair of Doodles.
Yes, I have a 10-year-old doodle named Beasley, who is an angel of
Look at
all
that.
angels,
Poodle mixed with a.
golden retriever.
Okay.
And then we have Bentley, who is about 3 years old, who is affectionately known as Monster, or when he's not looking the greatest, Bushbeast.
Golden, also a golden doodle.
He's also a golden doodle. Yeah, he's a black one.
That's what you have too, right?
Yeah.
Mine is a poodle mixed with a Bernese mountain dog.
Ooh, I like
It's,
it.
it's an odd dog.
You stop it. Penny's a gorgeous hound.
She's maintained a lot of that Bernese desire to just get in the snow, pull things.
Yeah.
So my 8-year-old daughter will get out there in a
Pull
sled in
things.
the wintertime, and this dog is just, it's in heaven. It takes off down the street pulling her like they're in the Iditarod.
Love it.
It's
Love
pretty
it.
cool. Yeah, she's a good dog actually.
She is a
Yeah.
good dog.
Yeah, Beasley is our angel. Forever will always be our angel, but Bentley keeps me on my toes.
Bushbeast.
Yeah, Bushbeast.
Well, cool. So you're here at our downtown studio, and your husband was telling us that he had never been to Huntington before, right?
He's not.
And so on the way in, I love Huntington. I'm not from here. We bring this up often, but as I was driving in today from the home office down to the studio, I was thinking of you coming in town. Of course, didn't know at the time your husband hadn't been here, and I was thinking, well, this is nice. We're going to come down to Pullman Square, and it'll be a nice day. And as I'm driving along the flood wall, there was a man walking with a live fish in his hands. It looked like he had just caught it, and he didn't have it in a net or anything. It was just something he had harvested right there from the river.
Wow.
And I thought, gosh, I hope Megan's not behind me right now. That's not necessarily the experience that we wanted
I mean,
to have.
that's really, you probably see the same in Beckley, to
See?
be quite honest.
What is there an end to this story?
No,
What?
it was just so strange as I was driving down. I thought, why does the guy with the live fish in his hand have to? I mean, he was just carrying it almost like a football.
Do you believe this?
Yeah, why would I?
I mean,
Why are you thinking about it?
You know what? Enough of this nonsense. I'd like to know a little bit more
Okay.
about Megan. And
Okay.
no joke, going back to you were talking about how the culture of your office is something that you're really proud of now. Beckley has always had really good numbers. It's always done a lot of business, had a big employee count, a lot of clients, covers a big geographic area too. But you're most proud of the culture that you have instilled. And just sitting here for 10 minutes, it's really clear to see that you're just a really nice person,
Aw,
easy to
well,
get
thank
along
you.
with. Yeah. I mean that. I'm just curious, where did you get that from? I mean, the values that you instill in the office, is that something from your parents, or there a certain school, whatever your path along life to where it kind of made you who
I think
you
it
are?
was probably all of those things. My mom and dad are incredibly giving people. I will say that. I'm a lot like my dad. We can be really quiet and shy sometimes, but then when you get to know us, we've got really huge hearts. My mom is the same way. She's got the biggest heart in the whole world. And I think going into social work, just wanting to help people, I think that's where a lot of that came from. And then, I think Ben had mentioned on one of the earlier podcasts, we've all had those jobs where it's kind of been that soul-sucking job. And I definitely experienced that soul-sucking job where people weren't as nice as they should have been. And that really led me on a journey of, how important it was for me to lead with kindness and lead with empathy, and to be those things for other people, because I would want people to show me that kindness too.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Obviously, you were raised right, good parents.
I'll make sure to tell them that.
Yeah, well, we talk about this a lot of the time.
What if we just called them right now?
We could do that.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, honestly, if they even pick up, they're probably with my nephew playing a baseball game somewhere.
Whenever we record,
I'm low on the totem pole now. There's a grandchild.
Oh, yeah, that's happened to me too. Mm-hmm. My kids get all the attention. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Nobody has any pity on a 41-year-old man. It's all right. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted your train of thought.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. That seemed like a prepared question.
Well, I wanted to ask it when she was talking about it, but then I didn't want to interrupt. Just kind of when you were talking about the culture that you put in the office, where did you get that from?
So you came in town there a couple of weeks ago. We had our regional meeting, and the West Virginia regional meeting was held at the home office in Barbersville. You and the team came up from Berkeley. At the time, it was a 4-person team, if I do my math right, but you guys have since grown to a 5-person team there at the Berkeley office. How did you guys experience that as a group? When you went back, I always wonder this, and we don't, usually the meetings are pretty busy, and then immediately after things are going on, so we don't get a lot of recap back, but what was it like the following week when you guys first came back to the office and kind of recapped, or did you act like it didn't even happen?
We completely ignored everything that you said.
Perfect. That's what we were hoping
wholeheartedly. Basically, I was like, guys, whatever Aaron said, just go ahead and scrap that.
Can I give a slow clap?
Do the complete opposite
Just kidding.
of all those things.
I'm being rough today, aren't I?
Today's rough.
I'm going to get in trouble.
It's all right.
No, one of the big comments that I had from the team coming back, honestly, we had talked a lot about culture in that meeting, and making sure that we're all carrying the right load and helping each other out. And that was something they had commented on that didn't happen in the past but is happening now. And that every single morning we're talking about, what do you have on your plate today? Is there something that I can help you with? And every single person on my team, which I'm super proud of, will say to each other, is there something that I can do for you today? And regardless of how busy they are, they'll always ask, well, what can I do for you all today?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Did you relate to Aaron's demonstration at the regional meeting? The directors will know what I'm talking about. They had the colored jugs where you had to hold the different things, but you're not supposed to have yellow. That's a nursing task, right?
Yes.
I thought that was a good job. See, I'm going to be nice for a minute.
Well, thank you.
That's so relatable because, it has to hit home, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's every day.
Absolutely. And for directors, it's such a learning process to be able to give and take those things. And also to not carry too much on yourself, but to be able to pass those things off and delegate. That's really something that's hard, and something you really have to be aware and conscious of.
How important, because this is something that you do extremely well, your office is doing it extremely well. How important is just communication within your office? Because there's a lot of moving parts. Now you have 5 people all running 5 different directions. And you guys are intentionally taking time, again, every morning, having these huddles and those sorts of things. How important is communication at your office?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, honestly, it's everything. When we're starting somebody new on services, there's a lot of communication between us and the nursing staff of when they're coordinating the assessment to when we have staff ready to go in, so that we don't miss that time, basically. As soon as that assessment's done, we want to have our caregiver ready to go. And vice versa, if we have a caregiver that we know, hey, we're struggling with this client on this caregiver, because we all know it happens because personalities clash, that's something that we communicate with the nurse, because more than likely they're going out for that assessment. We want them to be aware before they go out and let the client know, hey, there's already a plan in place, and just to reiterate what we've already talked about.
Awesome. Yeah, that's something that, again, you guys do so well at, and I'll tell you, to your credit, obviously, there's a million things that you do great at your office, But recently we were having some conversations about a situation where the care was good and there was just a problem on the back end on the billing side, right? No, I don't think anyone had done anything wrong there. It was just a kind of a little complicated challenge there. And man, I wish you could have been involved. Like Megan had not only checked every box, but had like double checked every box. And still, there was just a little challenge there. But she was right on the backside of it. The client was happy. Billing was great. Like everyone just handled it super well. That is by far a great strength of yours.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. How cool is it that in West Virginia specifically, I know we love to be able to take care of everyone, right? And there's going to be a couple folks within the state that, due to levels of care or whatever the specific challenges, village caregiving may not be set up to take care of them. Their acuity may be too high. But when it comes to economic challenges through the state waiver program, family funded, or through the VA programs, and then we take other payer sources as well, how cool is it for you as a social worker to be able to serve nearly every demographic within the state? Is that something that's important to you?
That's huge. I've been on the side of nursing homes where you have a lot of Medicaid
You would
coming
think
in.
that I would turn that off. I'm
Jeez,
sorry.
Jeff,
You've been on the
please.
side. We have a lot of residents come in. I'm so
I
sorry.
was right in the middle of just this important, like mind-blowing explanation.
I would like for you to take.
We
a
can
minute.
edit that.
I'd like for you to. Oh no!
No, please don't.
No.
Okay,
Many
don't.
times.
Just give it to him real and show how stupid I am. That's fine.
Many times have I been at this point in this podcast where I'm really just sharing it. I mean,
Yeah.
that heart is open. I'm
Yeah.
going to open it for everyone.
Yeah.
And this guy will go, well, let's take this call.
I actually am. Yeah. Well, when it's just the two of us and we want a guest appearance, I just answer a random phone call and see hello. And then they'll ask for Helen or something because it was a spam call.
Yeah. I'm still convinced you killed
Okay,
Helen, but
run
let's
it
go
back.
on.
Run it back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we were talking about the ability to take all demographics and regional. I mean, you're able to cover a huge area that's just
Yeah.
not covered
Huge.
by most places. So
Huge. So yeah, I mean, again, working in nursing homes, you see a lot of people coming in with Medicaid. They've had to give up their homes already. That's huge to be able to take care of those folks that are receiving Medicaid services in their homes and to keep them there as long as possible. I think that's incredible because I know working in the nursing home, the one thing that I always heard was, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And if we are able to provide that as much as we can there, that's amazing. And then on the side, for our veterans deserve so much more, I think, than sometimes they even get. But they've sacrificed so much. The least that we can do is be able to reach out to them and provide those services in home. Again, that way they can be as comfortable as they can for as long as they can. And with family funded, that's always a great privilege. I've worked quite of my career with private pay clients. Sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it's wonderful, and kind of a mix of all those different things. So yeah, I mean, the outreach of village caregiving, and then to be able to go into those smaller communities that, the nearest laundromat is 50 miles away. It's crazy to think that we're able to reach that far and that wide into our state.
yeah, a little bit about myself here. I struggle with the word rural. Is that-
Rural?
yeah, I don't know.
Rural?
It's just
Yeah.
a thing that
It's
I
hard.
But you cover that probably the most restricted or least accessible parts of the state. Would you agree with that statement? I'm not from West Virginia, so
Yeah, probably. If you're stretching over into those coalfield counties and stuff, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and that's the coolest thing about that. You might have I say this sometimes, but I think that those are the kinds of clients too where it's not like if you and your staff weren't covering them, somebody else would. I think in those instances they wouldn't have any help at all. And that's
Absolutely.
extra special.
Absolutely. And the amount of calls that we get every day from different case managers with different companies to say, I don't have any staff. Can you take this client and staff them? And our immediate response is yes. We're going to make it work. We're going to find somebody that can do it.
Sure. Well, I say that because I remember helping your office recently with a challenge, and one of the challenges was getting documents from one of our employees, and the mail system there was unreliable in their town. There would be days that it wouldn't get picked up and sent to central distribution. And I was thinking, like, how crazy is it that we're able to provide care in a community that the federal government can't get routine mail delivery done to? Like, that's really incredible.
Yeah.
The example that I used with this caregiver was like, I mean, this is basically like you're on Mars, right? We could eventually get a letter there, but it's going to take a while. And that was the challenge that she was facing. But it's so cool that I don't know of a corner or a mountaintop in West Virginia that we're not able to cover. And that is really, really important to our organization. And you do a great job of covering a huge swath of land down there. So,
can I ask another question?
no, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So go back to the one before it. See, I don't want to interrupt, but whenever you talk about how Aaron said that you checked every box, whether that's the client care, the billing admin side, are you a person, I'm just curious, that, no right or wrong answer here, that sets goals, like writes them down and then tries to attain certain goals? Or is it just more of like, we're going to do the right thing every single day and we'll get there? I was talking about this with Ben the other day. He's a huge, Ben Keenan, who's the managing partner and does business development. He's a big time goal setting guy. Writes them out, reviews it, always comes back to that. I'm just not as much. It's just more of like the golfer who says, I'm not looking ahead to the next round. I just hole by hole. And if I do enough holes right, I get to kind of the end result anyways. And different styles are fine. Which side of that spectrum do you fall on?
I'm a little of both. I mean, I go in every day with a list, but then I also know that every day, I actually described this to Chris Adkins, that every day is kind of like just a wild rodeo. You just go in and you don't really know what to expect, and you just kind of take it as it comes. So there's definitely some goals in mind for the day, for the week even. But yeah, for the most part, I think I do fly by the seat of my pants quite a bit.
Okay.
So last serious question, unless
Okay.
you had more.
No.
Okay, so the last serious question. When did you, this isn't the question, but when did you join us?
February of this year.
Okay, so
Yeah,
February.
so I'm still very new.
Yes, so no pressure. There is a right or wrong answer here, though.
Oh.
It's Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Wow.
What would be your recommendation for someone that is listening to this? Because what we've recently found is a lot of folks that are interviewing for executive director positions or leadership positions within our organization are finding us on the podcast. And so there's a good chance that someone will listen to your podcast that will be up for an interview with our organization. What advice or knowledge would you share with them about village caregiving? And this is, we're going to pay you extra if it's good. Don't get me wrong. But no, I'm kidding. What would you tell that person?
Trust what you guys are telling them. That was, like I said, I came into it probably a month in and I was still waiting for the shoe to drop, but everything that you all told me about leading with kindness, about wanting to do the right thing, about keeping it simple, how we're a company that's laid back, we're serious about getting the job done, but we want to do it in a way that we can have fun and enjoy our day. All of that is 100% true. Like I said, I keep waiting for the shoe to drop, but it hasn't. I've been incredibly impressed with this company, and I'm excited to see where we'll all be in 5 years and 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. The feeling is mutual. You've
Yeah.
done an excellent job from day one.
Oh, well, thank you.
I told you if we
Thank
paid
you.
her well enough, she would say those things. I knew it. Well, so you've watched previous podcasts. You understand the concept of the fishbowl. Is this correct?
Yes.
This is
I'm most excited about the fishbowl.
really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is. Well, we have a mental health council that we have evaluate Jeff monthly, and these are the things that they extract from his head.
Can I
right?
say one thing about the fishbowl though? I think it was Zach's episode. You guys had talked about dogs and how at one point you feel they're going to be inferior
Yes.
to humans.
Yes.
Can I just say
Superior, you mean?
superior? Yes, superior. Yes.
Right. Might already be.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay.
I have to say,
100%.
100% agree
There's
with that.
no room for.
No. Think about it, because how many times are our dogs training us to do things for them that we don't even realize?
That's right.
I get my dog a cookie because he gives me those eyes, and immediately I'm like, Beasley needs a cookie.
I'm working for
You're
Beasley
right.
now.
I'm totally working for Beasley. I know exactly, like, he gives
Yep.
me those eyes. I take him for a ride.
Yep.
You take your dog for a walk.
I'm going to have to do anything Penny wants tonight.
Exactly.
And then you're going to go home. Bushbeast is going to need a walk. That's what's happening.
That's exactly it. So we think we're training them, but really they're training us.
I'm questioning a lot about my life right now. How many things do I do because Callie has ordered it?
See, think about it.
Well, I am. Mm-hmm. We got to get rid of these dogs. I agree with you. Is that what we're doing?
Something to think about.
Well, I have one. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So we're just going to do our best.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go. Megan, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Oh, God. Did you know that there is more time between the Stegosaurus and the T-Rex existing on Earth than there is between the T-Rex and humans?
I did not know that.
And I think what you could gather from this is that there is clearly a defined amount of time that passed between when Stinny the Stegosaurus was here and his cousin Toronto Rex.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I was not aware of that.
Did you know that?
Well, I read this on the internet, and it's a thought that can
Okay.
stimulate good thinking just about time in general.
Okay, how much time
Isn't
do you-
that crazy? I'm not joking. A T-Rex was around 65 or so million years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. He's 85 million years away from the Stegosaurus. T-Rex closer to us than that other dinosaur. That's how long they were around. Just think about that for a minute.
Do you want to take a full 60 seconds and think about
This
what
is kind of like a time where I feel like, remember back in the day, like, I don't know, ABC or NBC, but it would be like, the more you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we need to have play right now. Like, that would be the perfect
I'm not
segue.
exactly sure what you're supposed to do with that information.
Right. I
But-
feel better about it though now.
I'll share it with my nephew. He loves dinosaurs.
See?
So, very helpful for me.
Look, I
I
mean,
can totally impress him with that.
think of how long they were around then. I'm sorry. Let's do another one.
Kind of hurts your head a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't think about it much longer. It's,
Okay. Did you have?
Time.
I don't know where we're at on the timer. Whenever my phone rang, it reset the timer, so we're just.
Oh,
your
This
guess
is
as good as-
hour 4, I think.
Garrett, how we coming over here, Spencer?
Okay.
Got about 8? I'll just yell it out.
28
now.
minutes.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
yell it out.
I like to invite.
Oh.
It wasn't ups.
Oh.
Well, I don't know how that just happened.
All
I
right.
don't know what's
well,
going on.
See you guys.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to leave yet. No. Have you ever wondered how many celebrities you've likely encountered before they were famous?
Oh, absolutely.
This is a good one. This one I could spend a lot of time on.
Hours. Go on.
No, let's see, you're making stalls.
Okay.
No, I mean, you think about how many people you may have bumped into. Like when I went to New York when I was in my 20s, like how many people could I have passed at Grand Central Station?
That's
you
the
know?
place to
like,
pass 'em.
Exactly. Like that's a huge place.
And before they're famous,
Yeah.
you're not going to know.
Did anybody wait on me?
How many people
in a
exactly?
restaurant?
You could have seen 40,000 different people that day. Mm-hmm. Odds are, some of them went on to the next Harrison Ford was in that station. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to take it a step farther.
Please do.
Children. This is what gave me the thought. I was watching this little girl in Kyoto. She's looking into this fish pond. Cute little kid, you know, and she's real charming look. I was like, it made me reflect. I wonder what will ever go on to happen to her in her life. She might be the biggest pop star in the world. Might win the U.S. Open. I don't know. And then I started thinking, because if you're a celebrity, you have to become more reclusive. You can't go out as much. And so, of course, you don't ever see them. But before, they're just all over the place.
Out and about.
See, I thought that you're ahead of the game here. I thought maybe somebody would be like, I don't know, probably none. I think you might see 100 a year. I don't know. A huge number.
100.
Maybe.
100 a-
Wow.
I'm not certain I see 100 strangers a year.
Yes, you do. If you were on vacation, you're in New York, like you say, or L.A., or you're at Disney World. I mean, you're seeing just thousands upon. I'm not saying you stopped and had a conversation
Right.
with them,
No,
but
I
you just
understand.
saw the next, Kobe Bryant was walking around. You wouldn't know.
No.
Yeah.
Don't you ever stop and wonder about little kids? Like, I hope they have a good life. So much is out of their control. I hope they go on and have nice things happen to them. I think about that a lot.
I just hope that they're quiet in the restaurant. What are you talking about? I'm planning their future out for them? They have parents.
Not that attaining celebrity and fame is really any measure of anything whatsoever, but just out of statistical curiosity, I just wonder how many of these 7,000 kids I saw today, a few of them are probably going to go on to be a great musician, artist, athlete, politician, something that I would, everybody would know them from.
Sure.
It's got to happen a lot.
I'll take a quick moment to tell a story that recently happened to me. Okay. I was at a restaurant. I was eating with some friends, and one of the gentlemen that was at our table kept looking over at another table and just kept looking and looking. And finally he leans over and he says, I recognize that guy. So I look over and now I'm looking at him and I start adding things up. I'm like, well, this could be Matthew McConaughey. No, it's not him. And I start going through the list, and we're here local, obviously, so it's probably not anyone super famous. And I lean over and said, where do you know him from? He said, he's on a billboard by the Ashland Bridge. And it was a doctor. Specifically a doctor that people at that table went to. Everyone knew who this guy was except the guy that kept staring at him on the billboard. But he said every morning he drives to work, he would see that guy's face, and he happened to recognize him in the restaurant. Would that count on your list of celebrities that you've met? He's on a billboard.
I mean,
no.
You guys did say that Zach is now starting to get recognized. Are we going to say he's celebrity status now?
Absolutely. You should see the way he acts now since that happened. It's disgusting.
That doesn't count.
No. Okay. Who do you think is the most famous person you've met?
I met Zach Brown from Zach Brown Band.
Really?
Yeah, at a concert, a Dave Matthews concert, actually.
Was he there performing, or you just happened to be like that?
He had opened, and then where our seats were at, the VIP section was right behind us. So when he walked in, we were able to speak to him.
I see.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you, we went too deep into the fishbowl, number 2, not 2 O's.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I think we got a lot of good information here about this celebrity situation and your curiosity about what the future of random children at fish ponds.
Just go home tonight and let those revolve in the mind a little bit.
I wouldn't recommend that either. But what I would recommend doing is figuring out how not to cohabitate with these dogs anymore. Because now that's a major concern of mine.
It's a risk.
It just got elevated for me.
I really thought about it.
Yeah.
It was very thought-provoking.
We may turn them loose tonight, and just if they stay, they stay.
To see what they do. Yeah.
I'm not turning my dog loose. My wife will kill me.
Well, Megan, seriously, thank you so much for making the trip up.
Thank you all so much.
Really, not only are we happy to have you here on the podcast, but we are thrilled beyond measure to have you here at Village Caregiving as well.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you back up here soon, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.